A lot of people have a problem with Masih, and I'm not saying she's perfect, Masih Alinejad, I'm not saying she's perfect, but she's damn near the most perfect thing we have in the Iranian opposition. I'm sorry to say, she saw something that the male-dominated opposition in exile for 43 years have not seen. It's the women's issues. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Iranian opposition and the Iranian revolution. What we are seeing in Iran is no longer just protests. Iranians have for years been fed up with the Islamic laws and the Islamic Republic and the whole framework of the Islamic rule in Iran, the theocracy in Iran. They have tried to reform in many ways. They have gone to elections. They have tried to speak up in blogs, in newspapers, protesting, voting, not voting, doing whatever they could to try to challenge the things that are wrong with the ways things are going on in Iran. People are being killed and have always been killed within the framework of the Islamic revolution or the Islamic Republic in Iran. There are several militias parallel working and having an eye on each other, and we have the army and then we have the Revolutionary Guard, and the Revolutionary Guard is the army with the ideology of the Islamic Republic. And all of these security forces and security apparatus has been put in place to keep protests down. We have to remember, and a lot of Westerners are very afraid and very worried because they've seen the Arab Spring. They know that Islam, if it's not this form of Islam, it's another form of Islam, and it's still a theocracy, it's still Sharia law, it's still an ideology. And what Westerners need to understand when it comes to Iran is that the Iranian people are done with Mujahideen Khalq, are done with Islamic law, are done with theocracy, are done with Sharia law. They want secularism, they want freedoms, they want human rights, they want, actually I'm going to be very afraid for a few, I want security for, mullahs after a revolution in Iran, because people are so fed up with them. They actually, one of the things that now is, going on and are being filmed is that people will go up to a priest and harass the priest, take them turban and just this flick it off, and this is a form of resistance against the priests today in Iran. The women of Iran have been pushing back, just demonstrating, protesting with their clothes, with their just looks, and their we are free women. That's what the that's one of the slogans today is, and I'm getting choked up because they are so damn brave. If you resist morality police in Iran, they will hit you, they will threaten you even with killing you. We don't know exactly what happened to Mahsa Amini, but we just know that she was arrested because of hair, essentially, and she was killed. And since then, a lot of other women have been killed, a lot of other men have been killed, children have been killed, a lot of teenagers have been killed. Even the hijabis, the women with the scarf in the Western countries who support Iran, a lot of them would be in trouble with the morality police in Iran because they're either wearing makeup, their dress is too tight, they're showing too much skin. A lot of people who just have tried to do anything about these oppressive rules and laws, are in jail. Journalists who fought against stoning, executions, the jailing of human rights activists and so on. There are so many brilliant people. I'm just getting choked up again. But there are so many brave and beautiful and smart intellectuals and activists and beautiful people in jail right now. Their lives are at risk. Every teenager or elderly or anyone going on the streets and saying anything, their lives are in danger. We need to be their voice. We need to make sure that Iranians are heard, and even people who would normally support a revolution like the one in Iran, a secular, freedom-loving, a people that just wants democracy. But people are so afraid after the Arab Revolution, and with all of those revolutions not turning out the way we thought things would go. And let's just not say we, because I in Denmark and a lot of other Iranians in exile were very skeptical about the revolutions in Arab Spring. But we know that the people in Iran are fed up with Sharia law. They're fed up with theocracy, Islamic ideology. Yes, the majority of people in Iran are Muslims. We don't have the numbers. I think also some of them have left Islam. They cannot say that. They cannot, they don't have the freedom to express that. But even the people who are Muslims in Iran, they're fed up with Sharia law, theocracy. That's what the Westerners and Western media and Western politicians are very much afraid of. Western experts, in foreign policy, that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of, what happened in Syria, what happened in Libya, what happened in Iraq, what happened in Afghanistan. No. Please understand, the Iranian people are different. Even when the Islamic Revolution happened, we saw massive demonstrations against the forced hijab law. From the beginning of this revolution, women said this is totalitarianism. This is against human rights. This is against women. This is against women. From the start, Iranian women said we will not have forced hijab, mandatory hijab. We are against hijab. Hijab is against women and the freedom of women. And this is from the beginning of the revolution. So the Iranian people and where they stood, they have, yes, they were Muslims, but culturally and politically, they are done with political Islam. I'm telling you, this is not going to be a problem in a future free Iran after a revolution against this theocracy. Theocracy is not going to be a problem in Iran. What is going to be a problem is, of course, there are mostly Sunni Islamists in the area, in the region, that are also in some parts of Iran who are going to, continue with their terrorism, right? No matter who is in charge in Iran, terrorism is going to be a problem in Iran, in the Middle East, but also in Europe. So Islamic terrorism is not going to die. The Daesh, the ISIS, the Al Qaeda, all of those groups are going to still be a problem also for Iran. And also maybe we'll have some Shia extremists. Most Iranians want freedom and secularism and democracy. Yes, they have not had it before. There are some problems with, Iranians not having had democracy before. We have problems tolerating each other even in diaspora, in the exiled opposition in Iran. We have a huge problem with tolerance, but we will not have another theocracy. I can promise you that. And also the Iranians will have to learn to stand together and work together. And this is a problem. We have a lot of jealousy going on. I'm going to be honest, there is a lot of jealousy going on whenever someone in the exile community, in the opposition, for instance, Masih or Hamed Esmailion or Masih Alinejad or Reza Pahlavi or anybody else who tries to do something for the unity of Iranians, people are both jealous and some are scared of, oh, you want power, don't you? But we need leaders. We need leaders leading this revolution. We need somebody to take charge of unity now for a period of time, and then there will be free elections and we will compete. You know, ideas, there are so many different ideas within the Iranian exile community and opposition in Iranian politics. And that's good. That's a good thing, right? It's a good thing that we have a lot of people with a lot of ideas, different ideas, who want democracy. That's a huge plus, right? But we need to, we need to stick together now, be united against this regime. And even after this regime has fallen, we should be always united in the fact that we want democracy, we want freedom, we want free speech, we want free elections. And I just need to remind people, if you don't accept the different views now, it's not time to compete politically, but you have to have acceptance for different ideas, for different ways of saying things and believing in the same freedom, in the same democracy, in the same free elections. We are different, and tolerating this difference is so important. And another thing that is very important is that forgiving. There have been, with the Iranian history in mind, with what happened with the revolution and all of the different reasons why people historically have mistrust and they don't want to forgive each other and so on. No, people are risking their lives on the street. People from all different kinds of ideas and thoughts and ideologies and so on, from the left to the right, are in prison in Evin and other prisons in Iran. And it is so important that we all stick together and tolerate each other, forgive each other, and have our focus on getting rid of this regime in Iran, having focus on this revolution, and remembering that we are all different. We have all different ideas from the left to the right, so many different ideas. We have to tolerate each other if we believe in democracy. If you don't tolerate each other, you do not believe in democracy, or at least in practice you have a problem with democracy. The opposition outside of Iran, the exiled opposition, is really the one who has the freedom to... There are a lot of people inside Iran that know Iran better, that are, so clear and so, brilliant in their analysis, in their, in their knowledge about what they don't want and what they want. But the Iranians in exile, in opposition, outside of the country, they have the freedom of speech to, say clearly to the world, to the leaders of the West, to the media, what is going on in Iran, what we want in Iran. This can only be done effectively if we stick together, if we can unite, and unity is a huge issue. Coming together, and also there's this jealousy. Why is that person on TV? I'm better than her, or I'm better than him, or and also a lot of people have a problem with Masih, and I'm not saying she's perfect, Masih Alinejad. I'm not saying she's perfect, but she's damn near the most perfect thing we have in the Iranian opposition, I'm sorry to say. She saw something that the male-dominated opposition in exile for 43 years have not seen. It's the women's issues. And what is going on in Iran is a women's revolution, a historic women's revolution for women's rights. And it is historic that it is a women's revolution in Iran. And it's historic that men in these kind of numbers are behind the women, fighting for the right of women. That is historic. We need to understand that when it comes to the opposition, yes, the male-dominated opposition in Iranian politics outside of the country have not paid attention to what women are going through in Iran and how this ideology that has been ruling this country, how Islamic laws and Islamic ideology sees women and treats women, right? So I just want people to be nicer to Masih because she deserves it. She deserves all of the shine that she's getting. Yes, of course, Masih is human. She has said some things that maybe you don't agree with. I don't agree with everything she's said. But we need to tolerate each other and we need to stand together. This is what I had to say. Thank you so much.